Hello, and welcome to the Cup Ringside, where we always give you the best seat in the house on most things wrestling, all things WWE. Did you miss us? I know you missed us. We weren't here last week, so you missed us. But we are back again. I am your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Per I didn't grab anything to drink today because you know what? Why? But you know what I do have? I have merch, cup merch that is, and you can get your hands on this beautiful cup mug or any of our beautiful cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses unless your country is under fire, on fire, or underwater or trying to get from underwater, then there might be some excuses. But and if that is the case, we're here at the Cup Ringside give you our sincere thoughts and prayers. We hope that everybody makes it out of every situation safely and everybody is great and okay, and you all can get back to a sense of normalcy. And once you do, celebrate by getting some cup merch. Period.
And now, Raw and SmackDown and the Cup Ringside bring you Topher.
Not the ring, not the PLE ring announcement.
And I literally watched on TikTok the other day. It came up and it was like, does anybody remember the "and now" guy? And it was
Now,
literally
guys.
2 minutes straight of "and now, and now, and now, and now." I was like, oh my god.
Oh wow. That is wild. That is crazy work, right? I didn't see that, but wow. But you know what? I have not thought about the and now guy in a minute. So thank you for bringing that
Right?
back.
They don't do that anymore, do they?
They don't.
No, you can watch like something from like 2003.
Wow. Well, shout out to the and now guy.
Yes.
Sure.
I wonder what he's up to now.
What was he doing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. We are here. We are back. Topher and I are here to talk about wrestling. This is the weekly wrap up. We talk about SmackDown. We talk about Raw. We talk about all the wrestling news. And this week we're gonna jump and talk about. We're gonna give our crown jewel predictions because that's happening this week. And so we got another PLE to talk about, and we're gonna give our predictions on what we think is gonna go down in Crown Jewel. So this is gonna be very much a very quick wrap up, but going right into our predictions. So we go get right into it. Before we do though, subscribe to this channel and all four of our channels because we are a part of a network, the Cup Network. So you should go check out all of our other channels. All the YouTube links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links. So if you need to check us out on the go, you can do that on the and click our audio podcast links as well. And our Patreon is down there as well. So if you want to get our Patreon to get exclusive content across all four channels and early access to content across all four channels. That is where our Patreon is. You can get that there. And so yeah, and join our follow us on all of our socials at the Cut Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Period. So let's get into it, Topher. We're gonna start off with a little bit of sad news. Sad news for me, sad news for us here at the Cup. Because we here at the Cup are fans, are stands of one Samantha Irving. And yeah, we know it happened a week ago and we didn't talk about it because we weren't here. So we're talking about it now because we never let an episode of the wrap up or anything that we do here on the ringside go on without giving a shout out to Samantha Irving. But she has decided to step away from WWE because she said that she didn't want to always be an announcer. She wanted to use the announcer role to get her foot in the door, but she wanted to become manager and maybe possibly a general manager. And she said that WWE didn't see a future of her going any further than to being an announcer, and so she decided to walk away.
And that's really tragic because one, great announcer, probably one of the best WWE announcers that they have had. Now,
Mhm.
they did bring back Lillian
Yes.
Garcia
Yes.
as a suitable replacement, but
Suitable.
really, I mean, like Samantha Irving brought announcing to the next generation, right?
Mhm.
What I think is disappointing is that they didn't have anything more for her. We didn't even test the waters.
Right.
I think there was a lot that they could have done. I mean, they've had storylines involving Lillian Garcia in the past. Remember with Big V, the Love
Mhm.
Machine, Viscera.
Mhm.
You had stuff with Howard Finkel all the time.
All the time.
I do think there was an opportunity. They got her somewhat involved with the Logan Paul and Ricochet match, but
That could have
it could have
led
been
to
more.
something else.
It could have been more. But it also sometimes if you're that good at a
Mm.
job, it's really hard to pull her out of that position. I mean, I know some of her announcing is one of the highest rated clips, on
Social
social
media.
media.
Yeah.
Yeah, her announcement of Cody
Mhm.
Rhodes winning the WWE Championship, it
Yep.
was just as big and got as many views as him winning the championship did.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful not to pigeonhole yourself.
Absolutely. I feel like when she was doing the stuff when they were testing, I think trying with Ricochet and Logan Paul, I think that could have they could have really made that into a story where she was involved and maybe getting involved a little bit in the match and cause Logan Paul to lose the match, or Ricochet getting disqualified in the match, or something, and just let her go out and just be a part. Like, I don't know. I I guess you're right. When if you're so good and they don't want to lose that, they just like, no, 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 you're good where you are. You're good where you are. But if that's not where that person wants to be,
Right.
you gotta.
I,
Mm,
I think at the end of the day, everybody comes home. So let her go
yeah.
back out there and
I mean,
then she's going to
Lillian's
make her
back.
way back. She's going to make her way back. Listen, unless, like, I think she should have held on for maybe another year or two
Yeah.
and then gone on because she's not going to make the money she was making,
Nope.
and I think she has all the potential to be successful, but I really think she should have used this to catapult her career. And maybe she will. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I foresee a future where she comes back.
I mean, we see Lillian came back, and we thought Lillian was gone for good, and she came back. So I
Yeah,
could see Samantha Irvin going out, testing the waters, seeing that the grass is not always greener, and sometimes you just need to come back and do what you got to do. So I hope to see Samantha back, me personally. But if she doesn't, I want her to be successful in everything that she does. So
agreed.
th- that. But let's get into SmackDown because I don't want to
Yes.
dwell
So
on the sadness.
over on SmackDown, one of the best promo battles that I've seen in a long time was Randy Orton calling Triple H out. I know you ever seen the time to play the game guy on TikTok? It's
Mm-hmm.
like time to play the game, time to play the game. He got to live out his dream. He was there in the crowd. They showed him. And Triple H came out, confronted Randy Orton, made fun of Randy Orton for being late.
Mm-hmm.
Which then, Randy Orton ended up in a backstage situation where Kevin Owens brawled with him in the back. I mean, it was good. I think that the promo battle between Triple H and Randy Orton is great. I do think that it was cool to see Triple H have to put the headphones down and make his way out. I feel like it peels back the wall a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, I mean, that's just really what that segment ended up being about. Andrade took on Carmelo Hayes. LA Knight was the official. This was a best of 7 series that had its 7th match that ended in a no contest.
Ugh.
No. What do you do with that? Who gets over? It's like, Jim Ross one time, he was like, phoning it in on one of his podcasts with Conrad. And he was like, it was just that. It was a tag match. Now, who's going to get over in a tag match? Naomi took on Candice LeRae. Indy Hartwell got involved. Bailey ran down to take her out. But Naomi got the win over LeRae. So good for Naomi. DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns. So the Motor City Machine Guns are back. And this is their first opportunity back in WWE. Or never, not back. This is their first time in WWE.
In WWE, right, period.
Yeah, and they beat DIY, which I think sets them up for a future championship match against Tonga and Tongaloa 5 minutes later.
I was like, what? Seems to have happened.
Yes, and then they beat the new bloodline in a tag match and became the champions. So, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, is that their names?
I don't even know their names. They haven't been there long enough for me to know their names.
Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin are the Motor City Machine Guns, independent darlings.
Mm-hmm.
So coming up through the independents, they've been all over the world. TNA, I don't think they've ever been to AEW. They were big TNA mainstays. I remember watching them when I was younger, when TNA was on Spike TV, when TNA was the second to WWE for a little while. I think TNA, some might say, is still the second to WWE.
No.
The Motor City Machine Guns are back. Are they past their prime? I think we'll have to wait and see, but I'm excited. I love the influx of talent, and hopefully they can use their tag division correctly. Did not like that they teased DIY splitting up, though.
Oh, well. I mean, I find it very interesting that Motor City Machine Gun, they walk into WWE for the first time and they win the number 1 contendership match, and right after that they win the tag team titles. I say good on them. I like that WWE recognizes the work that they put in around the world in the indie circuits, and was like, yeah, these guys can come in, and it feels like they could come in and win a title, and it's believable. Like, people would believe that. Like, if it was anybody else, if it was somebody coming up from not from TNA, but from NXT or something, we'd be like, did they get a tag team right out the bat and win? Like, do they? But I feel like with the career that Machine Gun that they've had, it makes sense. And I'm not like, oh, I'm not buying this. I'm actually buying it. So, and even though they won with the help, with the assistance of a Jimmy Uso, a Jey Uso, and a Roman Reigns, it's still that for them. It makes sense, and for the story to progress how it was progressing, it makes sense.
When you bring them in on top, they stay on top.
Yeah. So I love that for them,
and I love that the tag titles have been moved away from the Bloodline Bloodline storyline.
I mean, excuse me, y'all. I feel like it's only fair if you're going to take away Jimmy's IC title and move it away from the Bloodline story, then we need to take the tag team titles and move it away from the Bloodline story, so it's not wrapped up in that story so much that nobody else could get a chance to go after these titles. So I thought it was only fair.
Which is what, it's good. And we'll talk about the Bloodline v Bloodline in a little bit, but I do think that you taking away the titles from everybody in this regard, if you're going to do it to which shouldn't have happened, but it happened. At least it is. You're right. I think it's very fair, and I think it adds an interesting dynamic. And I hope that we can see the tag titles prosper. Maybe they'll give us a good feud between DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. We have a great tag team division on SmackDown that you could put them with anybody and it'll be a great feud, I think. So
But
I would love to see it.
Speaking of indie wrestling,
Mhm.
so WWE has launched a new indie wrestling development program. So
Mhm.
essentially, what that means is that WWE ID is the latest in their efforts to identify and support the journey of up and coming wrestlers, in turn raising the profile of and strengthening independent wrestling ecosystem. So instead of WWE having a specific farming league, which it does have the performance center, but instead of them having to basically make homegrown stars, they're going to be working with Booker T's Reality Wrestling, Cody Rhodes' Nightmare Factory, Seth Rollins' Black and Brave Academy, Elite Pro Wrestling Training Center, and the Knox Pro Wrestling Academy. So these are all independent schools that have helped build and created independent stars that may soon now have an easier access in gaining a fast track to NXT.
I love that. I
So
love that. I think that's an awesome thing for independent wrestlers who are just, like you said, just out there trying, grinding and grinding, trying to, you know, build up their craft and do what they do, and maybe not have the connections to just get right into NXT like some people and get to the performance center. So this way they can go and build up their craft in these independent circuits and these independent, schools, learn it, and then maybe make their way into, like say, NXT at the performance center and learn the business side of it. And I think that's a great idea. I think that's
yeah,
so good.
I'm looking forward to it. I wish that. So when I was younger, when I was 19, I went to the Team 3D Academy of Sports
Mm.
Entertainment, Professional Wrestling. It wasn't for me. Turns out, actually, I enjoyed watching wrestling. I was good at it. I was talented, charismatic, all of that fun stuff. But the physical injuries that come along with it happen quick, and
Mm.
I took a little bit of like a step back from pursuing that as an ultimate dream. I also had some other demons that I dealt with at the time. So a little bit got in the way. But I think had this sort of initiative been around,
Mhm.
I really felt like there was a lot that kind of got into my head of like, there's like, I'm like looking around at myself and like looking at the tenured people in the class, and I'm like, nobody from this class is going to make it.
Mm.
The closest thing to a star that the class that I was a part of produced was this guy named Jesse Neal, who wrestled in TNA a little bit as he was part of Inc. with
Mm. Okay.
Shannon. But like, yeah, so like really, it would just seem like a pipe dream, right?
Mm.
And it turns out that now you have all of these different avenues through the independents. I think it's a lot easier and a lot less seedy to become a professional wrestler, which is really cool.
Love that. I love that. I think it's gonna be. I can't wait to see what happens and what produces from this, and we get to see more um talent come into the WWE by way of this independent. Or if they don't even come to WWE, they'll have to be able to, learn, hone their craft a little bit more with
Mhm.
more with different people and more, I guess, I won't say professional, but you know what I mean, more established people, and then they maybe can go out and do the independent circuit, maybe go to AEW, maybe go to TNA, maybe do, and then of course WWE and TNA have that partnership that they're working on, so it's another pipeline to another, wrestling circuit. So I think that's a great idea. I can't wait to see what evolves from this whole ID program that they got.
Hmm.
But let's get into Raw because Raw was Raw. I I watched it. It was cool. The first thing, of course, what we get right out the gate is Jay Uso and the or and the doing his very iconic entrances that we all come and grown to love, where he starts in the back in the amongst the people. So he comes to the ring. He's going on about how he is, he was happy that he got back at the bloodline, the new bloodline, and did what he did on SmackDown. Um, but he wasn't in the ring long because Jay comes out soon, and him and Jay start talking, and Jay is like, "Are we cool? Is this good or what?" And Jimmy is like, "Are we cool? Is this good or what?" I said, "Jay." If Jimmy comes out, he's like, "What's happening?" And Jay was like, "Look, we need to, if we go do this, we got to
Mhm.
do it the right way. We got to do it. I'm Jay, you Jimmy. They ain't confusing us. They're not calling us twins. They know who we are. You are no Yeet. I'm Yeet. Like they know us, and we got to do this our way." And Jimmy was like, "Yeah, I mean, that's what we want. That's what we've been working for. We don't want to be known as the twins. We want to be Jimmy and Jay. That's that's the deal." And so they hugged it out, and they were like they was cool again. And of course, me being the bloodline girly that I am, was very happy to see Jimmy and Jay reunite, because as much as I enjoyed the feud with Jimmy and Jay, I like Jimmy and Jay together more. So I was very happy that they were able to come back together, reunite. This is what they've always wanted. They wanted to have their feud and where they fight against each other, but they always knew they wanted to come back together. So I'm happy that this story is happening this way. But Jimmy is like, now we just got to go get Roman, and we got to fight Solo together. We got to defeat Solo, us, all three of us. And Jay is kind of hesitant, like, me and Roman still got beef. I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't know. But Jimmy's like, look, I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna get him. You just got to come to SmackDown Friday. I'm gonna make sure he there. We go talk it out. Da da da. So he like, all right, I'll be there. And so Jay apparently has brought up the fact that maybe, possibly, we should think about talking to Sammy.
Mm.
Maybe Sammy, the OG bloodline, we get back together because it's four of them and it's three of us. We still need more people. And Jimmy kind of hesitant. He's like, I don't know, Sammy. I mean, if you think so, but we'll get more into that later, because I thought it was a good promo. I thought it was. I like I said, I like seeing them together. We then had a match between Sheamus and Kaiser, Ludwig Kaiser. Now, I like a good Sheamus fight. I do. I like when Sheamus, because Sheamus just fights. But I also like Ludwig because he's so technical. And so you got the brawling brute, like with brawling Sheamus, and Ludwig's technical style, very clean. I enjoyed this match.
It's
I really
Shane
enjoyed this match.
phenomenal. Anytime he's allowed to just go, I've
Yes.
never seen Sheamus really have a bad match.
I just really enjoyed this match. I, I enjoyed the physicality of it. I enjoyed the technicality of it. I really just enjoyed the way that they just went at it. Sheamus ends up winning, and it was good. I liked it. He won with a roll kick, of course, because that's what Sheamus does. But I also like. I don't think Kaiser lost. Like he didn't lose anything losing this match. I thought, you know what I mean. I still think he's really really good. I want to see more of him, but I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was really good. Um, yeah, yeah. We did have Ivy Nile versus Selena Vega. Mm, eh. I mean, because LWO was out there, and then the American those guys. What are they called now? I
American
forgot.
Alpha.
American Alpha. That yeah, that's I think
Yeah.
they're called. But they were out there, so of course you're gonna have a lot of ringside shenanigans going on, interferences, and you know it was fine, but it was just too much for me. It was just too much other stuff happening to focus on just Ivy and Zelina, which you want to do when there's a match going on. You want to
Mhm.
focus on the people in the match, but it was too many shenanigans going on outside the ring for me. But Ivy ends up winning, like to some shenanigans. It was okay. Um, we did have a backstage moment with Jay and Sammy, where Sammy was like, he wanted to talk to Jay about alone, and he was like, "Why would you go back? Why would you go back to the group, to the person who has manipulated you for years, messed with your mind, had you jumping through all kind of hoops? You got out of that. You made it a success on your own. You're the Intercontinental Champion by yourself. You don't need them,
Right.
and you don't. I don't get it. I don't get why you're going back. I don't get why you would subject yourself to this again." And Jay was like, "You wouldn't get it because you are not family." And I was like, "Oof." It was like a slap in the face to Sammy, but he was like, "So it is what it is." At that point, he walked away, and Sammy looked hurt. He was hurt. He was like, "Man, well, I don't know. Maybe I'm not because." And I get what Sammy is saying because it's like him and Jay both left the bloodline, both had Intercontinental Championship runs,
Nope.
and was successful without the bloodline. So why would you
Both
go
had
back?
beat Braun Breaker.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like we don't need the bloodline. But Jay is like, but the bloodline
Needs
is
Jay.
family. It's the bloodline. And even if we don't agree, sometimes we gotta just, suck it up and it was wild. We did have the New Day versus the War Raiders versus LWO for a contendership. I guess it was for a contendership match, but again, a lot going on. But I
Mhm.
enjoyed the match, but it was a lot going on. So many people, so many bodies flying everywhere. It's always a lot happening. And matches like this, and this is just for me. It might not be for you, but matches like this for me, I kind of like lose it a little bit because of it's so much happening. I have too much to focus on, and I can't just focus on one thing, and it's a lot happening. So I kind of maybe lose focus on a match like that when there's six people in the
Mhm.
match. But it was a lot of high flying, as you expect. A lot of strength and power from the War Raiders. Um, uh, Chad Gable shows up, pull Mysterio out of the ring by the ankle with the ankle lock. Why was he there? I don't know. It's just a lot. That's what I mean. What it was a lot. Like people showing up that didn't need to be there. Our truth was there for.
Right.
It's,
Raw was very lacked cohesion.
it's a lot. It was so all over the place, and I think that's this whole 2 hour thing that they're doing that is kind of it's even messing with them when they have to plan the show when they used to plan in 3 hour shows. Now they've got to plan 2 hour shows and they got to condense everything. And they just put everything in one. But the War Raiders ended up winning the match. It was a lot, but the War Raiders pinned Kingston for the victory. Um, it was wild. It was a lot. Dominic Mysterio versus Damian Priest.
Yeah, I took exception to this. You were advertising it all week of Dominic versus a former world champion, which is all great and good, but I really felt like they were teasing up some sort of return going into Crown Jewel.
It
And
was
his
Damian
opponent was
Priest.
Damian Priest, who he's already having a feud with that we've seen wrestle many a times. A little bit of false advertising.
Yeah, yeah. Why? Why are we doing that? I was like, former world champion, former world champion. Who could it be? It could be anybody. So many former world champions.
Nobody anybody. Could have been Goldberg.
Could have been Goldberg. Could have been Brock. Could have been anybody. But
Anybody.
it's Damian Priest,
It was Damian
who
Priest.
you already in a feud with.
We've already seen.
We already saw this, and we already know what's gonna happen. Damian's gonna dominate. He's gonna do all this. Judgment Day's gonna come out, interfere, and then by some fluky shenanigans, Dominic Mysterio wins against Damian Priest, and then he gets mad and starts annihilating Dominic Mysterio after the match.
Dominic, great podcast with Chris Van Fleet. If you want to listen to any interview today, go back and listen to that. It was really good. I've seen a lot of the clips on TikTok.
Absolutely, but it is what it is. I mean, what can we say? Dirty Dom is Dirty Dom. He gonna continue to be Dirty Dom, and I just really want Damien and Rhea actually to get away from this Judgment Day feud. I'm kind of over it. But obviously, it's not gonna happen because Rhea pretty much told Liv she got to kill her unless she gets her women's title back. So that's not gonna go away anytime soon. But that was Raw. Everything going into Crown Jewel. It was what it was.
It was a very lackluster go home show for what I think is going to be a very lackluster card.
Mm-hmm. The PLE.
This is just a holdover to get us to War Games.
Absolutely.
You know that they're only there out of obligation and that they want to get to War Games. And this is all Crown Jewel is. It's how many Saudi shows do they have left?
Oh gosh. I wish it was just like one more.
They
Like
gotta
I
be
wish
coming up on the end of this 10-year contract.
God, I hope because all the Saudi shows and all the Saudi shows just seem like all right, card. Like we to do this because we have to. They don't do any. It's just I don't know. I'm never interested in Saudi shows. The best part of Saudi shows for me is that it's in the afternoon and we can get it done on Saturday afternoon and then have the rest of our day to do whatever we need to do. That's the best part of a Saudi show for me. I'm just not interested. But we're gonna quickly talk about this show. We're gonna give our predictions. Me and Topher will give us ours here tonight on the podcast. We will get the rest of the predictions from the rest of our panel in our Discord later on this week for Saturday. But and then on Sunday we'll come back and see who is the king or queen of Crown Jewel. I guess we care. But we'll see. We'll talk about it. We'll get there. But let's get into Seth Rollins versus Big Braun.
Big Bronson Reed. This match actually probably has the most heat of all of the matches that we're going to talk about tonight. Yep. It's been a great feud build up between them. Bronson Reed has absolutely destroyed Seth Rollins multiple times. So now it's gonna be. I'm very curious to see how this plays out.
I'm interested. I agree with you. I think this match has had the most build up, and it was very personal. Like I could have seen this card on Bad Blood if Seth was back in time, because this is
Mhm.
the kind of personal beef that they have. I am very much been impressed with Big Bronson Reed lately, as of late. Um, do I think he's going to win this match against Seth Rollins? I'm, I'm not so sure. I feel like for this pay per view, for this event, I think they want to give it to Seth to round out this whole, he took him out, he's coming back, getting his revenge kind of thing. But I think it's going to be a good match between them. I think it's going to be a lot of back and forth and some very moments that Bronson Reed is going to create. I'm interested. I think this is probably one of the matches I am the most excited about.
My prediction is Bronson Reed. I think Bronson Reed is going to annihilate Seth Rollins once again.
Okay.
And it's just going to elevate. It's going to elevate Big Bron. I'd be very curious to see what he goes on to next. But maybe he takes Seth Rollins out and Seth Rollins takes a break and gives us like a return at the Royal Rumble.
I mean, Seth just took a break and came back. So I think for that reason, it's going to be Seth. But he's going to be battered and bruised when he leaves. Up next, this match happened because of all the foolishness that happened on SmackDown with Randy Owens and Kevin Owens. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. I know people's names.
This is also a match with a lot of heat. I think this has the potential to be really good. I would like to see what I think is going to happen. And I think Kevin Owens is on this heel streak right now. And in order for him to continue that, I'm going to go with Randy Orton as the victor in this match. It's been a hot minute since Randy Orton has won anything. So I think to give him an opportunity to win this, when was the last time Randy Orton won on a PLE? You got to go a couple
War
years.
Games? War Games?
War Games. Okay, a year ago in a tag match. Like I said earlier, who's getting over in a tag match? Come on. And not to mention, immediately overshadowed by a returning CM Punk.
CM Punk, absolutely.
So, this is Randy Orton has to win here.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think this is a good opportunity for heel Kevin to stay heel. I think we will, because something later on this card will continue to keep his heel streak alive, I think. But I think Randy Orton has to win this match, so Kevin will stay heel. Randy can get his boost of winning at the PLE, and I think this is going to put Randy in a position where he can start looking towards WrestleMania or first War Games, and where he's going to be doing War Games. You know what I mean?
And at this point, I hope all roads lead to Cody.
Oh.
I think the match that I would be most excited for would be Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton.
Ooh, at War Games? Ooh.
No, not at War Games.
WrestleMania?
Probably WrestleMania. Yeah, I'm building up to that.
Okay. Let me see, man. But I still think this WrestleMania is probably gonna be, if Randy is in it, I think it's Randy versus John Cena, since this is his last WrestleMania.
That's true.
That's what I'm thinking. This because both of them said that's the dream match that they had never had at WrestleMania that they want. So I kind of feel like they'll probably give this as John Cena versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
I will not be attending this WrestleMania.
I will not be attending this WrestleMania either, because this WrestleMania, WWE, let me holler at you for a second. Let me talk to you for a second.
Let's add this little bit to our news segment.
Yeah. WWE, let me holler at you for a second. I don't know who you all think that your wrestling audience is, but we are not all millionaires. We cannot afford $1,500 seats in the cheap seats.
Right.
Like, what?
They say, "Oh, wrestling fans are unsophisticated rednecks."
And
Bullocks.
and if that's what you think, what unsophisticated redneck do you think got $1,500 to be spending for no cheap seats? Like, come on now. I need y'all to uh, uh, bring it, because when I went to WrestleMania 30 and 34 in New Orleans, I paid $150 for a ticket and I was on the first level. Like, come on now.
I had my floor seats for WrestleMania 38. I think cost me the same amount as my nosebleeds for WrestleMania 40.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Ridiculous. Y'all are really
best pair of seats available for 2 nights is level 200, section 218, row 13, $900.
You have got to be kidding me.
$900 per ticket. $1,800
per ticket.
Yes.
And that's for two. Y'all have got to be kidding me. I want y'all to know
200, section 200, seat 13.
Y'all are tripping. Y'all are tripping. I will be watching WrestleMania from my house on Peacock that I paid $13.99 for. Yep. Because I got the premium because I don't like ads.
Yes, and you get to watch the special Why Are They Fighting clips.
Why Are They Fighting instead of Pizza Hut commercials.
Yes.
So, I would rather pay that than sit here and pay a car note or house rent or mortgage payment for my WrestleMania ticket that I spent $150 for.
Hottest ticket in the land. Hottest ticket right now.
That's ridiculous. And if I do want to go, I'm waiting to the day of and waiting an hour before to see what SeatGeek tickets come down to before. Because absolutely not will I do that.
Game time.
Y'all have lost y'all minds, but y'all tripping. $10,000 seats. Are we crazy? Y'all tripping. Mm-mm. In this economy? Mm-mm. All right. But we won't stay Randy. We move. Let's move to the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Women's Match. Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill versus Last Legend and Jakari Miss Jackson, Io Sky and Kairi Sane, and Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. What do we think of this match?
I think that it's the biggest piece of evidence that WWE doesn't know what to do with their women's division. Let's just throw them all in the ring. Get them all on the card. Come on.
At once.
Jeez, just do a women's battle royal and call it a day. I hate it. I hate when WWE does not have a strong enough women's tag division, right? It's not like you're looking at 4 solid teams, yes, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair make a solid team. You have Dakota Kai and Io Sky making a solid team. They've all been teaming with each other for a little bit going into this, but it's just not the same, and it just doesn't feel. At least throw a ladder in there, make them compete in a ladder match.
Something.
But I take Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill.
You just sound so defeated in that. Like, yeah, but it's going to be Jade and Bianca and Jade. This is trash. But it's just it's annoying. All of these teams can do well in the ring. Mm-hmm. I just feel like they were like, okay, we haven't Crown Jewel. We have this thing going between Jade and Bianca with Lash and Miss Jackson. And then Chelsea and Piper intervened. And then Io and Kairi were there. We just put them all together and throw them in this ring and let's see what happens. in Saudi where they, just it's just mm, ooh, I want better for my girls. I want better for my ladies. They deserve better. They do better. They are giving great fights. But it's like, and here's the thing, WWE, I'm coming at you again. If you go put them in this match like this and you go throw them all in there, you better give them ample enough time to actually tell a story in the ring. You give them time
Right.
to actually show what they can do in the ring. I don't want 7 minutes.
Right.
I don't want somebody interrupting and then we have to cut the match down to 5 minutes and everything feels rushed and pushed and give these ladies the time to go out there, put on a show, and tell a story.
I can
I
tell
would
you.
not be satisfied with less than 15 minutes.
I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. Chelsea Green going to do something silly at the very beginning of the match. After that, all of them are going to somehow end up on the outside of the ring while Io Sky dives onto all of them. Then we're going to see 8 finishers. Everybody's going to get to hit their finisher.
Mm-hmm.
And then boom. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill win the match.
Yep. Couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more. It pisses me off, but I couldn't agree with you more. Because, they just, please. Our ladies deserve better. They deserve better.
They do.
Oh,
They do.
give us Evolution too, please. Ugh. And this is happening because of what happened on SmackDown with the no contest in the
Oh, yes.
seventh. Oh,
This is another match. I don't know. What happened at LA Knight? Wasn't LA Knight the most over superstar? I thought LA Knight had so much potential. They said you are the mid card champion, and we are relegating you to the mid card.
mid. Everything about it is mid.
Mid.
I mean, okay. I get that Carmelo Hayes and Andrade needed something to fight for. The U.S. Championship is a belt that they should fight for.
Yeah.
I get it. And I think they both deserve, because honestly, I really, really, really enjoyed the feud between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. I
Yes.
thought this was a really good feud between them. Their matches have been interesting. I like the back and forth and then them having to go to a 7th game, match to determine something. I hate that it was a no contest. I hate that LA Knight was even involved in the match in the first place. I hate that and all of that. It just drives me nuts. But I also hate that with all the hype that was about LA Knight from the beginning, and it was, LA Knight, LA Knight, yeah. And now it's like, I have been saying this, and I you can go back on any podcast where we talk about LA Knight. I have not bought into the hype of LA Knight. Just never have. It's just something about him that I'm just not like feeling. And I don't think he's all of that. Like, I don't think he has proven himself as a United States champion that I'm like, he should keep the belt. Like, I honestly feel like it's time to let it go. And either one of these men deserve it. Andrade or Carmelo deserves it over LA Knight. That's me. I don't. Is this even for the belt, or is it just for
Oh,
fights?
this is
Because
for the belt. It's gotta be for the belt.
uh,
I don't know.
I
I
hope
mean,
it's
I think my pick's gonna be Carmelo Hayes, just because
my
I
pick
like
is always
Carmelo Hayes.
Carmelo Hayes because he is him, and I love him. But I also think, I mean, he is him, and I love him, and I think he deserves it. He's fine, and all that. But no, I do think he deserves it, and my pick is Carmelo Hayes. I think he would be an amazing heel champion that people would just love to hate. And then we can continue going. He could just have something to rub it on Andrade's face. And, Even if it goes back and forth between him and Andrade, I wouldn't be mad at that either. I just don't want it on LA Knight anymore. That's my thought. What do you think?
Yeah. I think it's going to be a good match. I think it's going to be an excellent, display of talent. I just think I would like to see Carmelo Hayes take the U.S. Championship here, and then I think there's plenty of good feuds that Carmelo Hayes can have for the U.S. Championship. I'd like to see, take Carmelo Hayes and like put him in a feud with like Sheamus. Styles clash. I think they're doing a lot of too many superstars with similar styles get in the ring, and yes, it's a great athleticism, but it's not compelling stories. So I want to see Carmelo Hayes win the U.S. title, and I want to see Carmelo Hayes go do some damage in the ring
with some people who is not like him. I love that.
He did great. What was it? Ilya Dragunov?
Yes.
That's two different styles, and it was great.
It was great. It was great. I would love to see that. Let's talk about our first ever Crown Jewels champion versus champion of the women's division, Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan. What are we thinking?
I think Tiffany Stratton is going to walk away with the belt.
I like it. That is what I said. I was like, whoop. I think I know what's happening. But yeah.
I think that it's going to be, Rhea Ripley's not on this card. So we don't know where Rhea Ripley's at. But I think that we're going to end up with Tiffany Stratton walking out women's WWE champion.
Oh, so you think she's taking it from Liv?
No, I think she's taking it from Nia Jax.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I think because we go have interference from Raquel Rodriguez and Dom, they will interfere. Tiffany's gonna come down to help Nia, but Raquel's gonna take her out. They're gonna take out Nia, and Liv is going to win this match, and then Tiffany Stratton is going to cash in her Money in the Bank on Nia Jax and become the champion. That's my.
I think it could even happen accidentally. I think she could come out and make it seem like she's going to take it from Liv, and then something happens that leads to Nia Jax being knocked out, and Tiffany just so happens to pin Nia after already accepting the cash in.
Okay. So you think
something funky like that?
Huh?
I said something funky like that.
So in your prediction is Liv wins or Nia wins?
I think this match is going to end in a no contest.
Oh, now we've never had anybody say no contest before. All right, no contest. I don't even know how we. Look, I don't even know how if that happens, but all right. But Tiffany walks away with it.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much interference that they're just gonna throw the whole match out. It's gonna be like double DQ, no contest, something like that.
Okay.
No definitive winner.
No definitive winner, except Tiffany when she wins the belt. Okay. We have this unbalance of the bloodline story happening. Roman, Jay, and Jimmy versus the Tongans, Solo, and Jacob. I think somebody's going to show up for the OG bloodline side. I think Sammy's going to have a change of heart, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think Sammy is definitely going to come out. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the winner's going to be the bloodline.
Of course, but which bloodline?
That is the question. Maybe it's for the right to call themselves the bloodline. I would have to imagine that for this story to progress any further, it has to be Solo Sikoa's bloodline, right? Because otherwise, it's like boom, it's squashed. It doesn't matter. That's 2 times in a row that Solo Sikoa and his bloodline have lost, Roman
Right.
Reigns is the man.
Yeah. I think it's going to be the new bloodline coming out of this victorious. I'm I'm trying to see if I think The Rock is going to have anything involved in this. I don't know if The Rock is going to travel to Saudi. I just don't think
Yeah.
he is. Um, but I think it's going to be the new bloodline only because I feel like the numbers game is going to catch up to the original bloodline. If Sammy doesn't come out, and I mean, I wouldn't blame Sammy for not showing up. Um, if he stays out of this whole bloodline situation, sure. Um, Something has to go into War Games.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is the opportunity for them. Like Roman has to humble himself again to somebody else because he's gonna have to humble himself to Jay to get him fully back on board, which apparently has happened because we see this match is happening. But I think the I think the new bloodline wins this match just so they could figure out, like you say, continue the story because it would make
Right.
no sense for the original bloodline to win.
That's how I feel. I just think you have to have the new. I mean, yes, I think we could see The Rock, but see, whose side is The Rock going to be on? That's the question. The real winner in all of this is going to be Jacob Fatu.
Absolutely, because Jacob Fatu is going to be he's amazing. I don't care what nobody say. He is like the best thing they could have. He's the best thing that could have brought into this storyline is Jacob Fatu to me.
Right.
I love watching Jacob Fatu.
No disrespect to the Tongans, but they are
No.
they are not bringing it. But Jacob Fatu, like that man is like believable.
Yeah, like I believe he is the werewolf, and he will destroy. Like
unwell.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be wild. I think if The Rock does show up, I think The Rock is on the side of the new bloodline. I feel like Solo is just the face right now because The Rock is running pulling the strings in the back.
Yep.
And I think all of that is going to come to head for WrestleMania or before WrestleMania. So we shall see. And finally, we'll move on because this is for the other champion versus champion, Cody Rhodes versus Gunther.
I really don't know. Because I want to say Gunther is going to win this.
Oh.
Just because I think that it could create a more dynamic story going forward. And I also think that Gunther's just kind of on a roll. And Gunther, I'm just going to go with Gunther. It's what my gut's telling me. I don't really have much logic in it.
My gut says Gunther because I feel like Kevin Owens is going to come out and be a problem for Cody Rhodes in this match. I think Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens' story is not done. And I think with Randy Orton beating Kevin Owens earlier in the night, it's only going to fuel the fire that's inside of Kevin Owens. And when Kevin Owens gets riled up, he gets irrational, and he is going to take that out on not only Randy Orton, but because expect to see a backstage brawl with Randy Orton and Kevin Owens after that match is over. Kevin is going to beat up on Randy Orton, and then Cody is going to be in his match, focus on Gunther, and here comes Kevin interfering in this match, and Gunther will win. And then we will deal with Gunther talking about how he is just better than everybody. And I can see that happening. That's my prediction on that.
And that's how Gunther takes the main stage as the number one superstar in WWE.
Absolutely. That is how that happens.
And then out comes
But
Bill Goldberg to ruin it for everybody.
not not Goldberg.
Let's see. I saw a clip. I'm not crazy. Bill Goldberg came out the other day, right?
Bill Goldberg did come out and
He
he
really
told
struggled.
Gunther he's
He was
next.
like, he struggled to do his like punch, punch, kick thing that he does.
Yeah, he Goldberg's back in the gym. Goldberg's getting ready. He is stretching out those muscles.
I think
And he's
it's
gonna
probably more for Goldberg's son. I think Goldberg's son is going to start to make an appearance.
well,
Yes.
if you want to get into business and you got your dad, nepotism is a beautiful thing sometimes. So you do what you got to do.
It really, really is. I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know either. I ain't got nepotism ain't never worked for me in any
I
state.
ain't got no royal bloodline going on.
Right.
Here.
I'm sorry. No royal families, wrestling families ain't mine. So
No.
I don't have that. But that is our predictions. That's Crown Jewel. We'll be back Sunday to talk about what happened. And if we'll see whose predictions are right, who comes out, who reigns supreme here on the Cup Ringside. Me or Topher or Brooke or Donovan or Wuss if they send in predictions. I don't know if they go send in predictions or not. But if they don't, then it'd be me and Topher. And if they do,
I won't be. I am running in the New York City Marathon on Sunday.
I mean, well, Topher won't be here, but he can still win. He can still win.
I may win.
He could still win. But Topher, good luck on running the marathon on Sunday.
Thank you.
You got this. We're cheering for you here at the Cup. And everybody, that's it. We're going to get out of here because we ain't got nothing else to talk about. But we'll be back, like I said, on Sunday to talk more Crown Jewel. And then we'll be back later on in the week to give our wrap up. So thanks for joining us. Please subscribe to this channel and all of our other channels. The link will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links, our Patreon links, our social media links, and our social medias if you want to follow me and Topher, and the link to get your merch. Get it while you can. And we're gonna get out of here.
Nice.
So we're gonna get out of here. So cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Bye. And now cheers.